So I couldn't find where to put the description. And this is my attempt to do another live podcast type of thing. So we are just gonna go right into it because this is a new thing for me. And here we go. And sorry if I look like I'm reading from a script because I pretty much am. So, welcome to the Lantern Emporium, where you'll never know what you're gonna be that's on the shelves. Sometimes a little strange, occasionally useful, sometimes very profound, but almost always worth thinking about. This really isn't a podcast about one thing. Some days we'll talk about psychology, some days we'll talk about writing, creativity, motherhood, spirituality, business ideas, grief, money, strange experiences, or whatever rabbit hole my brain wants to go down for that day. But today, we are going to talk about everything that happened today, from maternal guilt and cigarette economics, a spoon crisis at Wendy's, and new savings account. I'm kind of excited about that, actually. Accidental podcast, which is what you're watching right now. And the discovery that I've probably found a place big enough to hold all sides of me. So, one of the things that I have gone through my whole life is the fact that everybody's always like, find that one thing, find that one thing, find that one thing. And I'm like, there isn't one thing. There literally is not one thing that I am good at or great at or like to do. I am an extremely eclectic personality. I write, I do crafts, I do puzzles, I've got 1,000 things that I do, and in this last year that I've really changed my whole life into this creative atmosphere. I have, let's see if I can name them. Okay, so I've got content on all 4 platforms. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. And I've created 2 Patreons. One that is like, I have like 6 rooms in there. You pay for each one separately. But then I have a second one that's totally devoted to content surrounding my Tearing the Fabric universe that you will never find in my books once I get them published. But I've also wrote I wrote Unwritten Map, which is an adulting book. I finished my first fiction story I ever wrote. I wrote An Absolutism Will Be the Death of the Human Race. I wrote Holding the Light. I'm currently working on a fiction story, a thriller story. I even came up with another book idea just yesterday. So I am so eclectic that I'm so happy that I'm going to start doing this right here, what you're watching right now, and just be able to have one room where I can talk about whatever my crazy brain thinks of. And some of the first thing that happened to me this morning was I actually woke up with this really strange feeling like just things were weird, things were like sideways a little bit, something changed, but not necessarily in a wholly bad way. And now that my day is done and I'm sitting here doing my podcast recap, I can definitely say that what has changed is several of the things. Today, I actually figured out a way to maybe quit smoking, and I figured out maybe a better way to talk to my kid, and I found a place, and that's here, right here with you all. Dude, the other thing, I figured, I don't even know if it's me figuring it out. The next thing that happened to me today was the air conditioner. The air conditioner in my freaking car is acting weird. Like, it's blowing, and it's cold, but for some reason it doesn't feel like it's blowing as strong or as cold as it was when I first got the car. Now, this might be just my perception because The car I had right before this was a 93 Mustang, and it had no AC. So, it might just be that. I don't even know. But this morning I got into it, and I turned on my air conditioner, and it started frosting my windshield. So I'm like, well, maybe it's just me. I don't even know. But what I had for breakfast, because this morning I told you, today was strange. It was just strange today. I didn't even want to eat, but I was hungry, but I didn't want to eat. I ended up pulling out my Lucky Charms that I carry in my car. And I have discovered it was a trial, but when I'm nomad, I don't have a refrigerator and I don't have any way to heat things in the car. So when I'm traveling, I gotta have car-friendly things, and I found these, I don't even know how you say it. It's like OWYN, OWYN. It's a protein milk, and I bought a 4-pack, single serving 4-packs, and I like the pea protein better. I don't know why, just for some reason whey protein, it's like, no thank you. And I know it's a little bit grittier, but it doesn't bother me. So I had the vanilla shakes, and I actually took my bowl of cereal and I poured the shake in there, so instead of just regular milk, and those are also shelf stable. So I can have as many as I want in the car, and that's awesome. And it does taste a little different. If you've grown up on cereal, you know, it does taste a little different, but I keep telling myself it's a good different, so that I won't get that weirdness attached to it, you know. And today was just crazy. You know, I went out and I did some of my Uber quest this weekend, but not too much, you know. I ended up stopping at like 11:30 or whatever, because it just kind of died. And I've been thinking about those Wendy's Minion meals for like, I don't know, since I saw it a couple of days ago. So I'm like, you know what? I called my kid and I'm like, I'm thinking about quitting. You want one of those Minion meals? We'll come home and we'll eat. And it's just, I wanted to make up because we had a fight yesterday, and, you know, me and my daughter, we have the same brain but different, you know. So we both have the ADHD and all that kinds of stuff, but she doesn't think like me, and it's just so hard because the way that I've already been where she is, and I want to give her these tools to maybe catapult over some of these obstacles so that her pit isn't as deep as mine. But she doesn't hear me the way that I say things, and it's just a communication thing, you know. I try and she tries, and it's just, we don't get through to each other. But I think I made a realization today, you know, back when I was her age, I used to call my biological sister, and I wanted from her was comfort and emotional support. But she would pop up with, you should do this, and you should do this, and you shouldn't do this, and this is what you should be doing. And I'm like, dude, I did not call you to get advice. I called you to be a shoulder, because you're supposed to be my sister, and I'm supposed to be able to trust you with these things, and I'm supposed to be able to go to you when I'm down, and all I want is, tell me it's going to be okay, you know, tell me I got this, you know, and just listen. And I realized that's what I've been doing to my kid. I have been listening to her and her problems, and I am the person who tells her, well, this is what you should do, because I go straight into problem-solving mode. You give me a problem, and I'm a fixer. I go straight into figuring out the puzzle and figuring out how to make things better. That's me. That's just how I am. And that's not what she wanted from me, you know. She wants me to listen. So I'm trying this new thing where it's listen, empathize, and then ask. Where I listen to her, because I have a very bad habit of hearing the other half of her paragraph before she actually speaks it, and I interrupt her. She does the same thing to me, so neither one of us are like overly mad about that part, but I already know what she's gonna say, so I'm cutting her off, and I'm giving her the solution and what she should be doing in order to make this particular thing better for her. And so I'm trying to work on listening, first. And just making sure that I listen to her and make sure that she knows that I hear her. And then what the first things out of my mouth should be something that empathizes with her and then shows that I understand emotionally. And then make sure I ask if she wants my help or advice. And I'm working on it because it's not something that is inherently my way of being. I mean, I know how to listen and I know how to empathize and I know how to ask if you want my advice. But it's easier to a stranger than it is for my kid. Because, you know, as a mom, you just want to go in there as, oh my God, my baby's got a problem. Let me fix this for you. That's what you want to do. So it's really hard to do this and just to try to restructure the way that I come at her with when she's got a problem. Yeah, shelf 5. Shelf 5 was exactly what I was just saying, you know. I realized that I need to be the person that I needed when I was going through stuff. I need to think first about becoming the person that I always wanted when I called my sister, instead of being her mother and problem fixer. I need to remember that my daughter is smart. She is very smart and she is very capable. She's extremely emotional. She is, oh my God, her emotions only have 2 phases. Extremely high or extremely low. There is no in between with my kid, okay? There's no in between. And I gotta remember that she needs emotional support from me. She doesn't need me to think for her. And it's really, she's grown now. She's a mom. My granddaughter is 2.5, and she's the most beautifulest thing I've ever seen. But I gotta remember, my kid doesn't need me for that. She doesn't need me for an advice. She doesn't need to be fix-it mom anymore. She just needs me to be an emotional support for her. And I brought home the Wendy's, and we sat down, and I told her all of that today. And when I was saying, when I was telling her how I felt being on the phone with my sister, she's looking at me like she's like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. So I'm like, I'm glad that I actually seem to be understanding our issues correctly. And I'm like, I feel better about it, really, I do. And, you know, one of the things that I thought of today is I've been trying to figure out how to quit smoking in a way that works for me. Because everybody's got like 1,000 ways to do it. And you gotta find what works for you, right? So, I actually have this really crazy idea. I have a cigarette holder, a little metal cigarette holder that I kind of rescued from the bedroom of one of my friends who passed away when I helped his daughters clean out his home. It was one of the things that I saved. I don't know why I saved it, I just did, you know. But it holds 10 cigarettes. And I am a person who smokes approximately half a pack a day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to put 10 cigarettes in the cigarette holder. And at the end of the day, every cigarette that I have in there, I'm going to put $1 in a savings account that I have specifically gotten for this particular purpose, and I'm labeling it the Frivolous Fund, because this money is only going to be used for frivolous things. So if I smoke 9 cigarettes, I'm going to put $1 in it, and this is what I'm going to use to upgrade some things in order to make my content and my creativity kind of step up a little bit, because right now I have a laptop, a phone, and a bed on the floor in my daughter's house. So I don't have, most of my stuff's in storage, which is why I gave up my apartment to move her here, and I put everything in storage so that I could put the most things that belong to her and the baby and her boyfriend in my car, because we only could put one trip. And so 99% of my stuff went into the storage unit. I mean, Lila's boyfriend was sitting in the back seat with stuff in his lap. That's how packed our car was. The only person who was not burdened by things at their feet or in their laps or squished was the baby and me, because I was driving. That was some crazy times, but it was pretty awesome, actually. We 8 days. We took 8 days to travel, and we saw my mom. We saw one of her best friends. We saw her brother. We saw her other brother, which was my son, because she's got a brother from her dad's side. So, that was the first brother. The second brother was my side. And 8 days before we got here. We got to Iowa. So, that's what I'm thinking. Frivolous Fund. I'm only going to be here in Iowa for about 4 months. At the end of October is my granddaughter's birthday, so I'm going to be here at least that long. And then I'm going to head back to Florida. And hopefully I can get the lower control arm fixed on my car, and the valve gaskets fixed on my car. And I'm going to see about getting a tow hitch installed, because when I go back to Florida and get my tags renewed and spend the winter there, because I can, my apartment is still there, it's not technically mine. It's legally mine, but it's not technically mine. My friend is paying on the bills right now. So when I go back there, I can rent a U-Haul and put everything in storage into the U-Haul and bring it up here. Because I've got like a ton of games that, I think that I want to give to my kids, so her family can have family game nights, just like we used to do all the time. So of course, I'm sitting there in my parking lot and I'm having these, revelations, and I decide I want the minion meal, right? I want the minion meal. So I text her and she's like, hell yeah. So I went by the Wendy's that's on the way back to her house, and I got a potato, because I'm like, I can save the potato until later and I can eat it later. French fries, whatever, you can't really heat those up later. I mean, you could, but they're not as great, especially Wendy's. I'm sorry, Wendy's. Your fries are the best fries ever when they're straight out of the fryer. But 5 minutes later, they're almost inedible. So I figure potato, that's a safe bet, right? And I get up to the window and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Our potatoes won't be done for like another 15 minutes. And I'm like, you know what? That's perfect. Because you can give it to me, and then I can pop it in the oven for the last like 15 minutes and make it all nice and fluffy. And then it won't be, like, turn into some kind of like gray sadness because I heated it up later. And so she goes back and she does that. And the other dude, he hands me the Frosties and with spoons on the tray. And then he hands me Lila's bag, and there was a spoon in there. And I'm like, okay, if there's a spoon in my meal, I don't need these 2 extra spoons. So I hand the spoons back, and I'm telling the manager, I'm like, here's 2 spoons back, because he put 2 spoons on the tray, and he put 1 in the bag. And if there's 1 in my bag right there, I don't really need 4 spoons. I only need 2 spoons. She looked at me like I had 2 heads. I'm like, dude, really? Why are we confused over the amount of spoons that I need? Take the spoons. And then they took the 2 spoons, and then they took the spoon out of my bag. And I'm like, wait a minute. I need 2 spoons, so you can put that one in the bag. I only need 2, I don't need 4. You put 2 on the tray, you put 1 in each bag, I'm going to have 4. I don't need 4, I only need 2. Finally got it, and it was just really funny. We got home, or I got home, I should say, and I went in there, and I sat down on her bed, and we were talking about my revelations today. Sorry, I have to readjust. I don't know, for some reason my lower back has been bothering me all freaking week. I don't even know. I really don't know what that's all about. It's just, it has, for some freaking reason. Ugh. So, it doesn't help that I sit in a car for 10 hours a day. I think it was that trip, because I went from Delaware to Indianapolis in one day. And that was a really long ride, and I think that that's kind of what tweaked my back. Even though I've been back for a week or two, I think that's just kind of when I injured my back a little bit, and it's trying to recover. I've had a couple of days off, but this bed that I have is not very fluffy. It's very springy, but it's not very fluffy. I might invest in one of those mattress toppers, you know? That might be a good idea. Mattress topper. Because some of those can be kind of nice. Anyways, so when I got home and I sat down on her bed and I talked to her about the stuff, and Ava, my granddaughter, we were giving her fries. She actually came, I told her to sit, and I put the Frosties next to us. And Ava she put her hand into the Frosty, like she was gonna grab out a handful of Frosty, and I'm like, oh my god. And I'm like, no, because now she's got Frosty everywhere. So we gave her a fry. And she ate the fry, and then we gave her another one. She's eating them. And then she comes over, and she takes her fry, and she dunks it into the Frosty. Nobody in our family does that, even though I know that's a very popular thing. Lots of people get French fries and Frosties and dip their French fries in the Frosties. It's weird to me. Potatoes and ice cream does not sound good to me. I don't know what about it, but people do it. Lots of people do it. But here is this 2-year-old little girl doing it. And my daughter goes, "Aw, did you used to do that in your past life?" And I'm like, because, you know, I believe stuff like that. And I talk about it a lot. But my kid has never expressed any theories or thoughts or leanings that way, you know? So I don't know what she really believes and what she doesn't believe. So it was kind of like she just expressed something that I would say. I got a purple string on my floor. It's probably from when I was doing... Oh no, this is a friendship bracelet one. This is the crappy thread, not the good thread. This is the crappy thread that comes in those kits, those friendship bracelet kits. Not the ones that I do my my birth charts with. So yeah, that's one of the things that I did in the last month or two is I jumped seriously into designing, and I finally settled on version 3.0 of Celestial Cartography, and they look beautiful. I've got a pinned video on my TikTok profile that has a video of the Celestial Cartography that's sitting up here, the project that I did, the 6-chart project that I did. When I finally was done with all that stuff and I came upstairs to my room, because my room is upstairs in a converted attic. There's actually 2 bedrooms up there, and my granddaughter's room is over there, but she's never in it unless she's sleeping. And the only time she's up here besides sleeping is when mommy needs a break. And my room is on the other half, so most of the time I'm up here by myself, which is fine. I like my peace, I like my quiet. And my daughter got me a metal frame twin mattress bed, and it's kind of raised up off the floor, and my granddaughter crawls underneath it a lot, and it's all metal with sharp edges, and I really don't like her going under there, because A, I'm afraid she's going to get stuck, or B, I'm afraid that she's going to hurt herself. So today I spent some time, and I figured out how to get the metal frame lowered, because it's one of those T-frames that goes like this, you know. So I figured it out, and it's on the floor now, which actually suits me a lot better, because this is a lot more comfortable than sitting on the floor, because now I can sit on the edge of my bed, and I can just, my laptop's right here. So if you see me look over here, I'm looking at my laptop, because I made notes, this being my first podcast live. I made notes just to make sure that I hit everything that's happened today. And I think that's what I'm going to use this space for, is just a recap. Just to because my stuff is so freaking eclectic that you just don't even know what's going to come out of me today. I updated my spreadsheet, opened the second account. Oh, and I set up automatic weekly savings because I figured out, because I work per day, and everything that I do is structured around per day. How much money has to be put into my account from my food delivery, and how much of that goes to bills that come out of my checking account, bills that come out of my credit card, and how much I put in savings. So I set up the automatic weekly transfer for how much goes to my savings account every day. Yeah, if I look over that way, it's because I'm thinking. That way, I'm reading. That way, I'm thinking. I tell you, my brain just goes down rabbit holes, okay? So, you never know what you're going to hear. And I was thinking, I need a new wallet. But I have like 20 cards that go in my wallet, and with me being sort of nomad like this, I don't really leave anything laying around. Everything follows me everywhere, so I'm like wanting to design some kind of wallet that will give me all the slots I need, but also fits in my pocket. I don't like carrying anything on my shoulder. I don't like carrying anything in my hands. And yeah. So I'm trying to, I have a pair of jeans that's got a rip in the butt. So but the legs are fine. So I'm trying to think of a way that I can use that to make a wallet. I got some more thinking. I only got jeans. I might have other fabric from some of my shirts, because some of my little spaghetti strap shirts that I got from the Walmart like a year or so ago, you can only like wipe stuff off the fronts so many times before they become like paper thin. Those $5 Time and True ones that used to be $3, yeah, they're really thin. So I might have some other fabric, but I also have paper. But that's all I got. That's all I got in the way of actually making some kind of wallet. So I could buy stuff, but I like recycling. I like, instead of throwing something away, find a way to use it in another way. So that's really where my charts started. Because I started with, I worked at Wendy's. And Wendy's, they get their cases of cheese. And they've got the 2 rows of cheese. So when you take the 3 blocks off the top, they've got a piece of cardboard that's 12 by 12 inches. It's double corrugated cardboard. And then the bottom 3 cheese blocks. And I'm like, dude, 12 by 12, this is a perfect 12 by 12. I don't have to cut cardboard. So I started making those on the cardboard with leftover nails and leftover embroidery thread. And the version 1.0 and 2.0, they were okay, but I like 3.0 very, very much, because I have I mean, dude, gee, just go to my video and check it out, because that's going to be much better. What is this? Instead of me trying to turn my camera and making sure that you guys can see the shit on the wall. I don't even know. Is that a word I can't say? I don't even know. But then, I did a lot of thinking and a lot of talking, and I figured out that I'm going to do this every single day. Just a half an hour, 40-minute recap of my day. Hold space. Anybody wants to come in? Anybody wants to talk? I'm here. If you catch this on repeat or on one of my other channels and it's uploaded as a video, you can just comment and hit me up, whatever. If you got something on your mind that you want a situation you might need help with, or, I'm really good at advice, and I'm really good at the out-of-the-box thinking. And so that's just what I'm going to be doing here, because I wanted a live content, but I don't like doing lives. I don't like feeling like I'm on display and I'm performing for an audience and I'm trying to get you to give me gifts and like that's the whole reason I'm here. It's not. It's not the reason I'm here. The reason I'm here is to broaden my community so that these lessons that I have learned from my fire, walking through the fire and surviving the pit, and the things that I had to do, so they're not lost. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I do all of this. Everything that I do is for that objective. So I don't want to perform for people, you know. I don't want to say, yeah, come in, give me likes, give me presents, give me things. Of course I want all that, you know. I want it. Who doesn't want money? You know, money is, you know, helps everything. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to, if I just make one person's life one iota better because of something I said or something I shared, ooh, unstable connection, then it'll all be worth it. I just need one. And I'm running out of steam. But that's what I did today. Let's see where I'm at. So that was really interesting. It took me about 30 minutes to talk about my day. And a few of you have come in, gone out. Well, I guess that's all I'm going to do today. That's my recap for Saturday, June 20th. Tomorrow is Father's Day. I don't really have any fathers in my life. Nobody that I like to celebrate. Nobody that's worthy of celebration. That's been me since I was like 21. But that's another story. It's not a story for today. That's a story that will make me cry. Because I got to lose my dad without losing my dad. Beautiful. Anyways, I guess that's it. That's today's inventory. And I'll leave the lantern lit. And I will catch you guys on the next one. And you can like wander in here tomorrow and see what happens to me tomorrow. Because every day is new. Every day is crazy. And there's always something weird that happens to me. There's always something weird. There's always something funny. There's always something existential. It's just always. So, thanks for watching. If you're catching me over on YouTube or anywhere else that I happen to post this up, you can catch me on live on TikTok most nights. I try to go on around 6 p.m. Central Time. You can always subscribe and click a notification bell so it'll notify you whenever I am live. So you can join into the conversation if you want. If not, you can always catch them on recap over on YouTube. That's where this is going. So thank you so much for watching, and see you all tomorrow.